This is KC Sports Tonight.
Yes, it is KC Sports Tonight, and we are Scott and Jared, and it is Wednesday, middle of this week, first week of Chiefs training camp, sort of. Training camp light, if you will. Quarterbacks, rookies. But big day today, Jared. We got guys on the field running patterns, catching punts, doing stuff.
It's a beautiful sight.
It's
been too long.
Video, yeah.
It's been a long off season. No, it hasn't.
It's been 5 months.
But it's nice to see the return of what this whole city will be talking about for months on months. It's like legitimately what happens at 9:30 a.m. in St. Joe every morning will now be one of the talks of the town. You know, did Rasheed Rice throw up? Was that a major headline last year? Yeah. Who's going to throw up this year? That's what we're talking about, folks.
If Rasheed Rice threw up today, it was something entirely unrelated to football.
Hopefully he didn't, yeah.
No, but the guy that we're talking about is the new Rasheed Rice, right? You see the clever phrasing on the right-hand side. Are we hamstrung no more? Is the Xavier Worthy hamstring injury a thing of the past?
I thought you were talking about my hamstring injury, but no. All right,
I thought that was a knee. I thought we decided that was a knee injury.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
All right.
I'm screwed up. But.
More importantly than Xavier Worthy, how are you?
Oh,
is the knee okay? Before we get to
no,
the
it's
Chiefs?
not, Scott. It's not. Got an MRI next week.
Seriously, you're still okay?
Yeah, no, not
boy.
great. That's all right. We power through.
This was a Casey Current media game injury.
Yeah, not great. Nobody cares except for my softball team. They care.
I care.
I'm letting them down. Well,
but honestly, of those of us in that game, the smart money on who was going to be limping off the field was not on you.
I might disagree because if you said out of those three who would go the hardest in a media soccer game,
enough, yeah.
Like I was going to be recruited by
the
Sporting Kansas City scouts in the stands.
Yeah.
And it didn't come through. All right, enough about my lack of athleticism, Scott. Xavier Worthy was on the field today, and that itself is a victory for Chiefs fans because he missed most of rookie minicamp, OTAs, back when practices were here in Kansas City, but nothing gets the people going like St. Joe practice. And so he's like, hey, it's my time to shine. I'm out there today. Up and down, Scott, you weren't impressed by some of the drills, but when it counted, he
I was impressed by some of the drops.
Right, there you go. So he had a couple drops and some drills, but he also had a really nice catch.
I'm a little PTSD on that front from last season. Call me crazy.
Kadarius Toney had a number of drops. We do not want Xavier Worthy to follow in his footsteps. But I think today you also saw the big playability that he brings, and that's what I'm expecting, Scott, because after the NFL draft, Marlia said she had similar expectations to what Rasheed Rice did as a rookie, and I completely disagree. Sorry, Marlia, throwing you under the bus here on vacation, but I think that's way too high.
Way too high.
If Xavier Worthy can have a couple catches a game that are big catches that, stretch the defense down the field, that's what I want. In part because my expectations are lower. He's a smaller dude. He's a younger dude. And in part because there's better receivers around him. They're not as reliant on Xavier Worthy this year as they were on Rasheed Rice last year.
100% agree. Again, I guess we can pile on Marlia since she's on vacation this week. So unless she's watching, in which case we're sorry. We're sorry. No, Rasheed Rice caught 79 balls last year. I would be pretty surprised if Xavier Worthy approaches 79
catches.
Does. If he does,
but that's not what Rasheed Rice is. A more possession receiver.
Rasheed Rice is a bigger body, does more things.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Worthy's a one-trick pony, but at the outset, that's going to be his role.
Right, and because I don't think he is one. He's more than just a speed guy. I think he runs routes well. I think he can catch. I don't think he's going to break necessarily a million tackles, but I do think he's elusive to a degree. And so if you want to say you have high expectations yardage-wise, I think that's fair. But even that, Rasheed Rice had more than 900 yards. I'm not expecting that, and I think if Xavier Worthy comes up short, it doesn't mean he's a bust.
No, of course not. Where would you put it? Where would you put the over-under?
I would say similar to McCole Hardman rookie season, minus maybe a couple because McCole Hardman, I believe, had 6 touchdowns as a rookie. So I'd maybe say if you can get 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I think 4 is about right.
But and I think Hardman was a little under 500 yards. So again, what we don't know is a potential Rasheed Rice suspension. I think that changes things. If that comes this year, how many games that is, maybe they will need Xavier Worthy to step up. But in normal circumstances, I look at it more on a game-to-game basis, Scott.
Yeah.
Is Xavier Worthy helping him win that game? And similar to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, how about that? Is that a fair expectation? Be what Marquez Valdez-Scantling was last year?
No, you need to be better than that.
Does he?
Yes.
Need to be, because you have Hollywood Brown to
you
step
have
up.
to be better than hold on.
Yeah, pull up. And I guess I'm also thinking of playoff MVS.
I'm thinking of regular season. I want to say
I'm looping it all together. All right, how about
was it 29 catches? No, it's 21 catches last year. 21.
How many yards?
315. It's got to be better than that.
Right. I guess
we need to split the difference.
Right. I was thinking more playoff MVS, but so outside of the stats, MVS had a big impact in the Super Bowl, in the AFC Championship game, and in the divisional round. If Xavier Worthy can have a couple catches a game that you go, hey, the Chiefs won that game because of that, which they can say about MVS, then I think that's a success.
To me, I would put the number right around 40 catches, right around 550 to 600 yards because of the big playability, and 4.5 touchdowns. That's about where I would put the bar for. And again, this is not disparaging the player at all. This is simply.
I think he's got a lot of upside.
It's the role, and it's the. There's only one football, and when you have a tight end who's going to gobble up targets, and you have a Reiss who, assuming no suspension at the outset, is going to gobble up targets, and you have complementary receivers who are going to be involved in the passing game. We still don't know who's going to catch passes out of the backfield. That's a whole other story, but. I think that to me sounds about right. And again, plenty of room for upside surprise. But the beauty is the Chiefs don't need him to catch 80 balls. I mean, that's the beauty of it.
And the success of a draft pick isn't solely judged based on your rookie year.
No, of course not.
Same with now Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Now is going to be judged more this year. We knew that'd be a longer developing project. I think the same goes with number one. He has less of an excuse now that he's out in training camp, so they can't blame that injury. Maybe a little bit early on, but. Yeah, we'll see. Xavier Worthy will be one of the most watched players at training camp, and so it's good to see him out here on day one, Scott, starting this long journey.
And it is a long journey because it's mid-July, and we hope and expect this journey to last until mid-February. So we got to pace ourselves. But it was nice to see him out there on day one. It's nice to just see moving practice video. It'll look more real next week, or I guess starting on Sunday, once you get the veterans in there and everybody on the field. There will be storylines aplenty. Not that there aren't interesting storylines with the rookies, but once you get everybody out there, I think it takes on a different feel when you get into full pads and that sort of thing. And boy, we're going to be all over it, man. We are. I guess we should keep hyping this thing up because we're going to be streaming these news conferences every day with anchor hosts, support and analysis of what's going on. I mean, every day starting Monday during training camp, we're going bonkers with this on the KCTV5 app. So we are going to be diving
I didn't sign up to go bonkers. I don't know about that. I want to be cool, calm, and collected.
No, bonkers. Okay. I predict bonkers.
You predict Jared after the AFC divisional round win against Buffalo? Is that kind of the level?
No, I don't know about that kind of bonkers. Right. We'll save that kind of bonkers for the playoffs.
There's levels to this
Again, we need to pace ourselves, and that would be, we don't want to do that too early. All right, so that – I guess that's good for day one of Chiefs. Let's move on here as I slowly navigate my board because this is all in real time. So Royals last night, All-Star game. 4 Royals, 2 Royals pitching in the same All-Star game. First time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
As you so adeptly tweeted.
Which is crazy. And there's only been 2 other times before this year where the Royals have had 2 pitchers make the same game period, which the Royals have had decent pitching, and some of that's injury. That surprised me, Scott. It really did.
As for the numbers, we'll put them up there. Relatively uneventful. Cole Reagans pitched the 6th inning, gave up a hit. Seth Lugo pitched the 7th inning, gave up a couple hits, struck out Ryan McMahon. Reagans got help from a double play ball, which initially was not ruled a double play and then was overturned. Good thing they have replay in the All-Star game, by the way. I mean, it's good for Cole Reagans, but that's,
I disagree that it wasn't. Scott, we've seen some uneventful Royals All-Star games. No offense to Andrew Benintendi, who struck out and grounded out. Even
well, when you only have one guy and he has one at bat, it's almost always going to be uneventful.
Right, but by comparison, I think this was very eventful because I think all 4 guys had their moments of shine. Yeah, do you agree?
Well, Bobby made a couple of nice plays in the field.
But when you're judging this, I think it's do you have one? Because you're not getting many opportunities.
No, that's true.
And both, at the plate, both Bobby and Salvi struck out.
Right.
Because pitching in the All-Star game is so freaking good.
I've heard that.
These guys they're good in the regular season. It's the best of the best, and they know they only got 15 pitches.
Right.
But Bobby had a great throw from deep short where he threw out a runner.
I
thought that was cool. Salvador Perez.
Admittedly, the runner is Marcelo Ozuna, so you probably could have thrown him out, but still.
Yeah, I know I'm not beating it out with a bad knee. Full circle. Okay. But Salvador Perez, though, catching the final out, catching the end of that from Manuel Clase, and then Scott, who was the guy they interviewed right after the game? It was Salvador Perez, which, like, man, that's pretty freaking cool. And to see the respect and see the nation, see how, lovable he is. So I thought the fact that he could catch that, final out was really cool. And then Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo, 2 first-time All-Stars, they threw some pitches that were nasty, and they got out of it without looking like Tanner Houck, who has Mizzou made, but did give up a 3-run home run to Shohei Ohtani. So I think to see 4 guys all have their little moments of glory. Did they win All-Star Game MVP like Eric Hosmer in 2016? No. That's an unfair expectation. They had their moments of shine, which is something we haven't said in a while, Scott.
I was disappointed to see Bobby only get 1 at bat.
Agreed. That's fair.
I think that the nation deserved more. And, Salvi, look, he's been there 9 times. But Bobby Witt's first All-Star game, coming off all the hoopla, the home run derby the night before, and I get it, shortstop. You had Corey Seager, the hometown guy who had to play.
Put one of them at third. But Isaac Paredes, nobody cares about him in Tampa.
Right. Right. I think there was a way. Now part of it was the American League. Even though they won the game, they only had 5 hits in the game, so there weren't a lot of ABs.
And they didn't play the bottom half as well.
They didn't play the bottom half, so
I agree though.
Unfortunate, but would have been nice to see Bobby get the extra AB. I'm guessing he will have more in years to come. Just a hunch.
Yeah. No, but it was cool to see 4 guys introduced. As always, it's only the 7th time in franchise history. So that's where Royals fans, I know there's some hesitancy to buy into this season. You don't want to get hurt. You don't know how for real they are. I think that's fair, especially when you got a team across the parking lot where the expectation is so much greater. But if you need more proof of this Royals team being different, I think this week can provide a great example. You've got 4 All-Stars, something that's only happened 7 times in franchise history. You got 2 All-Stars pitching in the same game, something that's never happened. You got Bobby Witt Jr. announcing his presence on the national stage, advancing farther than any Royals ever advanced in the home run derby. This Royals team, it's got some juice. All right, let's give it the respect I think it deserves.
And we will talk much more about the second half of the Royals season in the next couple of days. We got a new relief pitcher who will be in town on Friday.
Going out to the K this weekend, Royals fans. Yeah. Royals are playing the White Sox.
Playing the White Sox. You see some W's. You see some offense.
And the Royals play great at home. They really do.
And the best part about it is the White Sox are so intent on limiting Garrett Crochet's innings because they're going to trade him in 2 weeks that he may only go 2 or 3 innings. So you don't even have to worry about that.
You can get a bobblehead on Friday. The weather is not supposed to be too bad. And you've got some strong pitching coming up.
Which bobblehead is Friday?
Michael Garcia.
Okay.
So, and hopefully this will spur him getting hotter. Because if you look at it, if you kind of look at Michael Garcia's peak, was around when the Royals were about 15 games over 500, and since he's gone downhill, they've kind of
it's a big deal. They need him.
So,
if they're going to contend, he has got to be the guy we
saw last year. He
really
elongates the lineup, or at least he can't be as down as maybe he has been over the last month. So hopefully a bobblehead, gets him going. But also they got some bullpen help now. This would be Hunter Harvey's debut.
Yep.
You figure that this weekend, new relief pitcher from the Nationals who's got some filthy stuff. Unfortunately, MJ Melendez has hit the injured list, so maybe Nelson Velasquez comes up. But either way, while the Royals are still in contention, Scott, they're only 2 games back in the wild card race. I know Chiefs training camp is here, but I think this year there probably should be more people at a Royals game than at Chiefs training camp. And I don't know if we could say that all the time in past years. This weekend, hopefully the fans come out.
Okay, I'm going to give you your moment here because Mr. Mizzou was not with me. Well, you were actually with me yesterday, right? You did the show.
I was.
Okay,
I gave a shout out to Mizzou Products, Brad Pitt.
That's right. I guess we just didn't have enough. We didn't give it sufficient attention because we're back.
It's a big week, Scott.
It's a big week.
It's another day of SEC Media Day.
SEC Media Day. This is day 3 of 4, by the way. Yep. It's SEC Media Week. Yesterday was the one we obviously cared about in these parts because it was Mizzou. We saw Eli do his thing. We saw Brady Cook. That's right. You and I talked about how Brady Cook seems a lot happier and the weight of the world no longer on his shoulders as much as it was a year ago. But when you talk X's and O's and you talk about this Mizzou team that's going to be ranked at least top 15, if not top 10, when the preseason rankings come out, I look at a defense that lost so many dudes across the board. Darius Robinson and Chris Abrams-Drain and Ennis Rakestraw. And now they have returning impact guys. They have Dalen Carnell at a corner. They have Christian Williams. They like the pass rush, right? They a couple of impact transfers. But Johnny Walker, another guy coming back. But
Cotton Bowl defensive MVP.
When you look at this defense, Jared, I mean, I don't know. It seems to me that they have to take a step back, don't they?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't have a better season as well. Because I think, they also have a new defensive coordinator. They're relying more on some transfers and some newcomers in the sense that they did great in the transfer portal. Some of their best defensive players on this year's team weren't on this team last year. So, and then you look at, okay, what do you get out of the number one high school recruit in the country? I don't know. I mean, some of those guys, it's hard to tell, but it's not crazy to think Williams Nwaneri is going to come out and be a great pass rusher along with Johnny Walker right there. You said you got Christian Williams on the inside, Christian Wilkins on the inside, not Christian Wilkins.
Christian Williams.
Christian Wilkins for the
different player.
Raiders.
Yes.
So, but it starts with a pass rush there, and then you go from there. I think they have dudes that can do it, but Scott, this team that starts on the offense side of the ball, you've got Kirby Moore coming back.
Well, the offense should be fine.
But the reason I say is because I think it was a defensive first team last year, and the offense went out and won some games, but also their main job was to, not turn the ball over. And I think this year the offense is going to pick up the defense because, oh my gosh, Scott, let's talk about these skill position players. Like, you've got Luther Burden, who arguably the best wide receiver in the country. I'm not a Mizzou fan for saying that. Like, he's legitimately supposed to be a top 10 pick, right? You would agree with that? Luther Burden?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you got Mookie Cooper coming back, former Ohio State Buckeye. He's been great, especially when healthy. Mekhi Miller, a Blue Valley North product. He's coming back.
Yep.
Theo Weiss, the Oklahoma product, is great. He's coming back. Brett Norfleet they're very high.
The underrated weapon.
Yeah, so you've got
offense.
a tight end there as well, and then you've got 3 running backs that you don't figure to have a Cody Schrader type top dog, but you've got 3 guys that they really like that they think complement themselves really well with some of the more bruisers, some of the big guys, and then not only do you have Brady Cook with an underrated deep ball, he's not known for his deep ball, but he actually did throw it decent last year. His legs came on last year, Scott. He's a threat in the running game. The offensive line, you have Amron Mimbo, Caden Green, 2 Lee Summit North products. Man, this offense, Scott, really should be one of the best in the SEC and one of the best in the country. And then it's like, okay, your defense, just, don't suck like they did a couple of years ago during when they had Steve Wilkes as defense coordinator.
By the way, did you hear the news today about Cody Schrader?
If he doesn't make the 49ers, that he's going to play
second-round pick of St. Louis in the UFL.
Yeah. If he doesn't make the San Francisco roster.
And you saw who the number 1 pick in that draft
Jason
was.
Bean.
Jason Bean, yeah.
Well, we've seen success. Adrian Martinez won the title for the USFL
MVP.
Not too long ago, and so that's a great place for these local stars to find new life.
Yeah. All right, so the last item on today's list, because they play tonight.
And I did research here, Scott. Are you proud of me?
I am extremely proud of you. They play, so Sporting plays at Vancouver, the Whitecaps, where I will be in a couple of weeks, by the way. True story.
Wow.
Not for soccer.
That's a great dichotomy, though. If you've got Neil Jones in the heat a training camp, quenching himself with Dr. Pepper, where you've got Scott with the Whitecaps.
I'll be a training camp too, but
but when you're in Vancouver with the cold,
I'll send a postcard.
Yes.
No, but more importantly, Sporting in Vancouver tonight, and lo and behold, Jared Koller, this team has won 3 in a row. Yeah. Are we seeing? Have they flipped the switch? Is this 2023 revisit? What's going on here,
Scott? I disagree with. I was all about team flip the switch for the Chiefs. Listen, I was saying they're going to flip it. They're going to do it. I don't think Sporting is that different in a team now than they were at the beginning of the season or in the middle of the season. All right, here's
they're just scoring more goals than the other guy.
Sure, exactly. That's part of it. But I think the Sporting discourse is so weird, Scott, because I think you have the diehard soccer fans who are used to seeing a certain level of play, like in Europe, or the way Sporting has traditionally played as one of the winningest franchises in Major League Soccer, and they're like, Sporting sucks, fire Peter Vermees, okay? Then you got the people who don't really watch the games and just see the standings, and they say, Sporting sucks, fire Peter Vermees.
And they don't care anyway.
Right. I think I'm in the middle, whereas, listen, I'm not watching every minute of every game. I played soccer. I love the beautiful game, but I'm not as intertwined as a lot of the people in the Cauldron. But Here's the stats that I pulled up. Sporting right now is 7 points back of a playoff spot with 10 Major League Soccer matches to play. So still time to go, and that's a lot of ground to make up.
Right.
But it's only technically, if things go crazy, it's 2 wins and a draw.
Right. But how many teams do you have to leave
from?
From?
So they need to do better than that. Yeah. But 7 points back.
Yeah.
This year, Sporting has 10 matches where an opposing goal in the 70th minute or later, all right, so pretty late in the match, has either turned a Kansas City win into a draw or a Kansas City draw into a loss, losing 14 total points in the final 20 minutes of those matches. Those are heartbreaking end-of-match moments that have doubled their deficit. They gave up 14 points late. Right now they're back 7. If they don't do that half the time, then they're right in it. To expand upon that, 8 of those matches goals have come in the 78th minute or later, so you're talking even later. 3 of those have come in extra time, Scott. They've been playing better than their record says. They're just not finishing the deal, whether it's execution, whether it's tired legs. There's a million different reasons. But I think at times they've shown their ability to play at a higher level, regardless of the opponent. And I think if they continue to do that every match the rest of the way, I think they're going to have a chance at the end of this thing.
Here's my problem with this, is everything you've just described is true, but it doesn't paint quite the accurate picture of the timeline of it. Because most of what you're talking about, this was the storyline in April and in early May. And at that point in the season, it was, they're going to be fine. They've got the talent. They're playing well. They're in a position to win every game. And then they do something at the end of the game, a lapse, and they give it up. And then a win becomes a draw becomes a loss. And then at some point over the beginning of the summer, it just became 4-0 loss, 4-1 loss. So
not to that degree. We're talking 10 matches here. That's not just the first couple.
Understood.
Yes, it was more like their first 3 or 4 were all like that.
Right.
But they've still had a number of heartbreakers where it's like, I especially think during the summer, like, hey, maybe they get a win. Then they look to make it 2 in a row. Then they have a back-breaking loss. And you're absolutely right, though. To be fully transparent, they did have one awful match not too long ago. They lost 4-0 and weren't even competitive. So it's not been like they're competitive every single game. But to the degree that, like, all right, listen, we'll throw Marlia Kim under the bus. She's thought Sporting has been dead for months, and I can't go that far.
No, it's fair. Look,
I can't do it.
They're not dead, either mathematically or logically. I mean, they're not dead. The road is long, and it's going to be a tough climb, and it starts tonight. You know, if you win tonight and you get some help, then maybe you wake up tomorrow, you're only 5 points out of a playoff spot, and if that's the case, that doesn't sound like that much when you still have 9 more games. So, yes, clearly
they're also really banged up, though. I mean, if you look at their injury report, Scott, like,
it's been that way all year. I mean, it's
but that's what happens when you have an older team, and that's where it's like this team was one of the best teams in Major League Soccer not too long. Like this collection of players. Problem is now they're older, and it's not coming through like it did a couple of years ago.
Right, much like you in the.
Oh, that's tough.
We've come full circle, folks.
Shout out C Team. Shout out to the C Team Offensive Player of the Year trophy that is in my parents' house.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Gonna go get ready for the 6 o'clock sportscast, where you will hear from our friend Xavier Worthy on his training camp debut, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
James Shield salute.
Shield salute, and we're out of here.